days that I usually don't post. As a woman, I'm very busy and very preoccupied with 101 things, so these videos cannot go out fast and furious as I would like. They take up a lot of my time, hence why it takes a bit of time before I obviously do post a video. I'm essentially trying obviously new things and obviously seeing how they pan out. Anyway, with that being said, let's discuss the Bentley bentayaga. I'm a fan of cars and the culture of cars and the way it essentially fosters a sense of community, especially when you're obviously a car enthusiast. However, before I obviously discuss cars, I want to park up this conversation for a second. So let's park up. So as you guys know, it's coming to the time of the year when the weather is essentially changing and it's going to get a lot more colder. So people will essentially utilizing more cars and public transport a lot more. No, I'm not going to go into the kind of intricate details or specifications of an engine size of a train and tell you how fast it can go. That's not what this conversation is about. No, this is not what this segment is about. This segment is covering a variety of things, so pull up. What I will be discussing though is the abundance of these prep meals floating over Instagram. Now, someone that mainly eats prawns and veggies and doesn't really eat meat or rice, it can be quite challenging finding food that you know you're going to eat and enjoy. I just find rice bloats me, so I opt for things that I can obviously eat that is not so fulfilling. Now, my biggest peeve with these homemade ready meals is that there are many pescatarian options. It's really not there. It's really not there. The lack of pescatarian options, it's really not there, and they always seem to have rice or pasta as a base for every dish, even if it's a vegan. And someone like me that doesn't eat these things unless it's a mac and cheese. Other than that, it's a no. I just think that unless it's a Trini mac and cheese, then it's a no. I just think that more thought and effort needs to be put in these ready meals and that get delivered to your door, especially for someone like me. I love Christmas. Christmas is 101 days away. Now, before I obviously talk to you about the Bentley bentayaga, what I wanted to talk to you about was London Fashion Week, which is currently underway. Now, they say New York is commercial fashion, whereas Paris and Milan is luxury fashion, and the world UK is blooming fashion. However, whatever the case may be, you may have blooming talents at London Fashion Week, showcasing their very demure, very blooming, very much in style, darling designers. The event is going to be on for like a couple of days, with some designers proving to be creme de la creme and some obviously very mid. Well, it's absolutely amazing. There is going to be a fusion of designers and attendees that will be there. Some very well known and others not so known. One thing I find with London Fashion Week is I find that they host it in different places and never in the same place. Many of the designers that started at London Fashion Week have obviously gone on to be household names, and their pieces are absolutely amazing. Anyway, I digress. As it's obviously approaching autumn, so there will be probably many fits for this fall. I think Fashion Week needs to be talked about more. It's like an intersection between style and innovation. Anyway, I digress. So I've been in a few dealerships, right? And for these high-end specification cars, but I'm noticing that there's a single common denominator for these high-end luxury cars, usually and because they come under one main corporation, and their affordability differs a lot more from private sellers, even in their pricing. I can only assume a private seller has less overheads as opposed to a franchise dealership or a big massive dealership. You're probably thinking, how have I come up with that conclusion? Well, say you walk into a dealership and are wanting to purchase a car. For the purpose of this video, say it's a Jaguar. 9 times out of 10, when you are sitting down with the consultant and you decide to get your car on finance, why is it the finance offered in these major dealerships significantly are higher than those of private sellers? You essentially got to look for a better deal. I found that when you go to a private seller, their insurance team, if they have one, seem to be I find that when you go to a private seller, their insurance team offers a better deal by far. Anyway, I felt that Bentley Bentayaga was very sophisticated, very fast, very big. I obviously had the opportunity to drive the car. My thoughts are that it is very big inside. It's very heavy to maneuver. So essentially, when you're obviously when you're turning the steering wheel, you don't feel the whole weight of the vehicle turning with you, like some cars, like a Land Rover or something, but it's still heavy. Do you know what I mean? It's very big inside. It's not very heavy to kind of maneuver. When you're obviously turning the steering wheel, you don't feel the whole weight of the vehicle turning with you like you do with some cars. The car which I was in was a 5-door. It was a 2022 or 2023 plate, and the car was in great shape, both inside and out. If you were to get it on finance, the payments were not what I thought it would be, as I obviously went to a private seller who had their own insurance broker, and I was shocked by the pricing. I would guarantee that if you went to a bigger dealership, payments will be significantly higher. My thoughts are this: despite many of the luxury dealerships having access to many brokers, they are very pricey, but the independent car sellers or private car sellers not only have access to high-tech, powerful cars, but their in-house insurance team seems to be very reasonable. Obviously, this is all dependent on having a superb credit score. Now, you might be thinking, how much does the Bentley Bentayaga go for? Well, the Bentley Bentayaga goes for £234,000. It goes for £234,000. So it's quite expensive. But the finance that I found on the private seller was significantly much less than what I found on the big main dealerships. So the contrast was so big. So sometimes, because something is popular or it's popping, doesn't necessarily mean that is essentially the best deal.